What is going on, YouTube? Welcome to the Living Freed channel. My name is Tyler Freed, and I'm going to be doing a series going over the BI triangle, the business and investor triangle, created by Robert Kiyosaki. For those of you that haven't seen my last video, I did do a video going over everything in the BI triangle. I did just a quick summary of it, but I'm actually going to be making a separate video on each of the different subjects within the BI triangle. And what is the BI triangle? It is pretty much a guide, a business planning guide. And as I alluded to in the last video, it is vital for you if you are planning on starting your own business, investing in a business that already exists, investing in that business could be publicly traded, a private company, or a piece of real estate, whatever. I do believe this BI triangle is a great way to determine whether an investment is a good investment or not. And so, yeah, I'm going to be covering, though, like I said, I'm going to do an individual video on each and every one of these things you see on this board. So, like, I'm going to do a video today on the mission you have with that investment, with that business, with that investment. I'm going to talk about building a team. What type of team do you need in place? I'm going to talk about leadership, how important leadership is. I'm going to talk about product or service, you know, how to figure out what your service is going to be to the marketplace, the legal aspect of starting and running a business, setting up systems, communication, cash flow. Cash flow would be like, an income statement, balance sheet, statement of cash flow. It's understanding the finances of your company. And all of this is vital. Now, do you have to create a business plan using this? No. A lot of people create it various different ways, but I like this because it kind of goes in detail. It separates everything within a business, and it's kind of just a simple way to have a 30,000 foot view of your business. And so what I'm going to do also is I'm going to be using a trucking business as the example to explain this. Why am I going to do that? Well, because I own and operate a trucking fleet. And, that's the industry that I'm in. But if you're watching this video and you're in a different industry, or you're wanting to invest in something else, this information can be used for that too. Like I said, I would use this if I were buying a rental property. I'd be using this BI triangle um, in order to, again, determine whether it's a good investment or not. So in this video today, I'm going to be going over the mission of your company, the mission you have. What is your long-term goal with your business? Why are you starting this business? If you don't know that, if you don't begin your business venture or investment venture with the end in mind, what am I trying to achieve with this, then it's going to be tough to be successful at every other thing. That is why it is at the very bottom of this BI triangle. It is literally the base of your business. It is the foundation. What is your mission? So let's say you want to start a trucking business. Whether you buy one truck or own multiple trucks, you are starting a business. And so many guys and gals, people in general, will go into a business venture and they do not even know what they're trying to accomplish, like I said. So, for example, if you're wanting to become an owner operator, all right, you're pretty much saying, hey, I'm going to save up money, I'm going to buy my first truck, and I'm going to be self-employed and run this truck, own and operate this truck myself. But what is the goal with that? Are you just trying to increase your income from your job? And usually that's the number one reason people start a business, is so that they can make a lot more money than they made at their job, right? But to me, that's not enough, because when you start a business, you have to have an end game. Do you want to just own and operate one truck? Do you want to buy multiple trucks? And the thing is, in trucking, if you want to go from one truck to two, you really need to know what your end game is. Because I firmly believe you're kind of just wasting your time if you go into it with, well, I'm just going to wing it. I'm just going to, make money and just keep buying trucks. Yeah, but what's the end game? At some point, you need to know, do I want to grow this into a large private fleet? Do I want to grow it to 10 trucks, 15, 20 trucks? Again, what do I want to do? And that's going to help you determine what your plan needs to be, right? If you want to go from 1 to 10, you're really going to have to be very smart with your finances. When you buy that first truck, you're going to have to live on a very low salary and invest as much of that profit back into your business to grow that fleet as possible. But a lot of guys, again, they don't know what they want to do. Or do you want to just, make more money and pile as much money into retirement accounts as possible? And is that your end game, to just use your one truck to fund retirement and maybe retire early or whatever, or save up, buy your own home, invest in other things outside of the trucking business? You get the point. The moral of the story is you need to know what it is you're trying to accomplish, the mission of your business, the mission of your investment. it Again, you need to know what you're trying to accomplish. It's that simple. I know I keep saying it over and over again, but so many people don't know what they're trying to accomplish. And I'm going to end with this. What am I trying to accomplish with my fleet? Eventually, I want to grow it into a saleable asset. So what does that mean? I have to, one, grow it to a large enough size where it's making enough money and it has a high enough return within my industry to make it attractive enough for somebody to want to buy my fleet from me. And another thing that I have to think about in order to achieve that goal is I've got to build a team. I've got to have a strong leadership, right? And that's going to be the next video, is team. But it lets me know, hey, with this BI triangle, it lets me know my goal is to build a company that is a saleable asset. Just because I'm trying to build a saleable asset, though, does not mean that once it's at that point where it's worth what I would sell it for, that doesn't mean I want to get out of it. I may want to continue running it and just run it until I'm ready to retire. But that's my long-term goal with the fleet, is to get it to where it is a saleable asset. I'm trying to build a real business, a real legitimate company. And in order to do that, my plans are going to be different than a lot of you watching this. A lot of people watching me, like I alluded to earlier, a lot of people watching me, their goal is just to own one truck and not go, past that, and just invest in other things. Or they just want to get to maybe 3 or 4 trucks and just, that way they're just making more money, and they can invest in other things. Moral of the story, I'm not telling anybody what to do, but to end this video, to end this part of the series I'm doing, um, you need to know what it is you're trying to accomplish. You need to know that, because that'll let you know how to structure your business plan. That'll let you know where you're trying to get to and what you need to do to get there. That's my video for today. God bless. Thank you for watching, and peace out.